watch you while you sleep, holding you, lost inside every breath you breathe. I don't wanna live a day without you, I just wanna be the one that makes you happy.
Okay, this video is going to touch upon a taboo subject. And it might be kind of disturbing for more sensitive viewers because a bespectacled older person with really crappy haircut is going to discuss sex in this video. Yes, the video I made yesterday touched upon the well, if you go and watch it, or maybe I'll make extra clips to this video, maybe just make a bunch of clips and put this all together. But there's a lot of stuff in the Bible about how basically describing sex as dirty-mindedness, or you know, just basically the lower self, being of the lower self, or anyway, it's just it's not uncommon knowledge or it's commonly known, I should say, that religion makes sex out to be an embarrassment or a perversion or something vile and dirty, and you only should have sex when you're trying to produce a child. You can only have sex when you're married, and I guess you can't even have sex when you're married unless it's for the purpose of procreation. So, to start off this series of little clips, it's hopefully, I don't even know if there's going to be, I don't even know what I'm doing yet, but this is how I'm starting it off. People, because of religion, deny themselves things. They might deny themselves the right person for them to live with, their soulmate. They might deny themselves the one person that they were meant to be with, for the simple reason that their religion teaches that they should not be unequally yoked. You know, how many people find the right one and then decide that it's not a good idea because that person isn't the same religion, or maybe that person doesn't have a religion? So they forsake that relationship that in every other way would be perfect for them and be a huge improvement to their life, a huge benefit. And who knows what kind of psychological benefits it would be to have the right, to have your soulmate, you know? But how many people forsake or turn their backs on that perfect, well, you can't really have perfect relationship, but that relationship that is the best relationship for you, that you'll never find again because of religion. So yes, again, that's another thought of how religion in general, but I have to say Christianity because I know it best, and I know that it does it. Because of the teachings of this religion, people do lose, people do miss out. There's a lot of what ifs that maybe people will never know, you know, because they followed a religion, and maybe they turned away from something that was the best thing that could have possibly happened to them, but they didn't get to know that or realize that because they mindlessly followed this religion. So anyway, back to sex. Because of the teachings of this religion, I'm sure there's a lot of people that greatly restrict their sexual activity. And by doing so, they actually deny themselves a health benefit. That's right, a health benefit. Yes, it's common knowledge that there are sexual transmitted diseases. If you're not careful, or if you sleep around and you have, you know, you don't pay much attention to who you're sleeping with or who they slept with, you know, the old saying that, or it's not a saying, but the well-known idea that when you sleep with someone, you're also sleeping with everybody that person has slept with, because Okay, so yeah, it's good to be smart about who you sleep with and whatever, but how many people deny themselves a healthy sexual relationship or just sex for pleasure because they think they have to be wanting to procreate every time they have sex, or just not have sex if they don't want to have children? Because of what this book says and what this religion says, they deny themselves the health benefits that come from sex or having sex. Little article here. There's articles you can Google the health benefits of sex and see for yourself. Let's see. This is one called the 10 surprising health benefits of sex. Helps keep your immune system humming. Sexually active people take fewer sick days, says Yvonne Fulbright, PhD, a sexual health expert. People who have sex have higher levels of what defends your body against germs, viruses, and other intruders. Researchers at Wilkes University in Pennsylvania found that college students who had sex once or twice a week had higher levels of the certain antibody compared to, I can't read now, to students who had sex less often. You should still do all the other things that make your immune system happy, such as eat right, stay active, get enough sleep, keep up with your vaccinations, and use a condom if you don't know both of your STD statuses. Okay, now another health benefit to having sex, it boosts your libido. Longing for a more lively sex life? Having sex will make better sex and will improve your libido, says Lauren Stryker, MD. She is an assistant clinical professor of obstetrics and gynecology at Northwestern University's Feinberg School of Medicine in Chicago. For women, having sex ups vaginal lubrication, blood flow, and elasticity, she says, all of which make sex feel better and help you crave more of it. This is a fun one. Sex improves women's bladder control. A strong pelvic floor is important for avoiding incontinence, something that will affect about 30% of women at some point in their lives. Good sex is like a workout for your pelvic floor muscles. When you have an orgasm, it causes contractions in those muscles, which strengthens them. It lowers your blood pressure. Imagine that. People who have high blood pressure problems, they just need to have more sex. Research suggests a link between sex and lower blood pressure, says Joseph J. Pinzone, MD. He is CEO and medical director of AMI Wellness. There have been many studies, he says. One landmark study found that sexual intercourse, specifically, not masturbation, lowered systolic blood pressure. That's the first number on your blood pressure test. Counts as exercise. That's right. Sex counts as exercise. Sex is a truly great form of exercise, Pinzone says. It won't replace the treadmill, but it counts for something. Sex uses about 5 calories per minute, 4 more calories than watching TV. It gives you a 1-2 punch. It bumps up your heart rate and uses various muscles. So get busy. You may even want to clear your schedule to make time for it on a regular basis. Like with exercise, consistency helps maximize the benefits, Pinzone says. Another benefit, lowers heart attack risks. A good sex life is good for your heart. Besides being a great way to raise your heart rate, sex helps keep your estrogen and testosterone levels in balance. When either one of those is low, you begin to get a lot of problems, like osteoporosis and even heart disease. Pinzone says, having sex more often may help. During one study, men who had sex at least twice a week were half as likely to die of heart disease as men who had sex rarely. So in other words, single guys, you're more likely to live longer. I'm sorry, I had to put that in there. Okay, going to the next page. Okay, turn to page. It's kind of embarrassing talking about pelvic contractions and stuff. It's a completely new one for me. Okay, so here's another one. Wait. Oh, this is number 7. Lessens pain. Before you reach for an aspirin, try for an orgasm. Orgasm can block pain, says Barry R. Komisarek, PhD, a distinguished service professor at Rutgers, the State University of New Jersey. It releases a hormone that helps raise your pain threshold. Stimulation without orgasm can also do the trick. We found that vaginal stimulation can block chronic back and leg pain. And many women have told us that genital self-stimulation can reduce menstrual cramps, arthritic pain, and in some cases even headache. I have to say this name again. Komisarek says, oh, here you go, guys. This is number 8. It says, may make prostate cancer less likely. Going for the gusto may help ward off prostate cancer. Men who ejaculate frequently, at least 21 times a month, were less likely to get prostate cancer during one study, which was published in the Journal of the American Medical Association. You don't need a partner to reap this benefit. Except, according to the Bible, masturbation is a sin. Sexual intercourse, nocturnal emission, and masturbation were all part of the equation. It's not clear that sex was the only reason that mattered in the study. In that study, lots of factors affect cancer risk, but more sex won't hurt. Okay, this one improves sleep. You may nod off more quickly after sex, and for good reason. After orgasm, the hormone prolactin is released, which is responsible for the feelings of relaxation and sleepiness after sex, says Shini Ambardar, MD. She is a psychiatrist in West Hollywood, California. And last but not least, eases stress. Being close to your partner can soothe stress and anxiety. And Bardar says touching and hugging can release your body's natural feel-good hormone. Sexual arousal releases a brain chemical that revs up your brain's pleasure and reward system. Sex and intimacy can boost your self-esteem and happiness too. Bardar says it's not only a prescription for a healthy life, but a happy one. Or you can look at the Bible and all the things that it says in there about how, you should deny, that lustful animal nature. You should deny it because it's a tool of Satan. This is something that I've always wondered about Christianity. Why is sex such a threat, to religious leaders? Who came up with this in the beginning, that sex was a bad thing? Why did the religious leaders Why did it matter so much to them that they needed to control women and that they needed to control the sexual habits of their followers? It's very strange. Anyway, another thought that crossed my mind, this has to do with, I guess this would be another video, except I'm in the mood to talk, so I'm going to just keep going with this. Okay. So this is kind of me interceding on my own self. Okay, I'm going to try to be quick because the original video was 25 minutes long, and I'm cutting out a bit in the middle because I don't want this to actually, well, because I said something that I think is wrong, and I want to correct myself. And I thought I would do that before I put the video up, so it's like, you know, some sort of damage control. But yes, this part that I'm cutting, I just want to explain a little bit because I can't cut it completely from my video. I mentioned it toward the end, and so what you're looking at is the interjection, and then I'm going to go back to the video that I filmed last night. I talk about bonobos and chimpanzees and how we humans are similar to these two. Bonobos are pygmy chimps. How we're similar to these two types of to chimpanzees in general, but to these two species, to these two varieties of chimpanzees. How we're similar? Well, bonobos are more like love monkeys. They resolve their conflict using sex, and the larger chimps resolve their conflict. They're more cannibalistic and violent and warlike, and we're more like that than we are the bonobos. And in the original stream of conscience video that I did last night, and when I do stream of conscience, I'm not always thinking things all the way through and seeing the big picture. I blather on about how I think that religion has made us more like the larger chimp and less like the smaller chimp, the bonobo. Instead of being love monkeys, we're out there waging war all the time. Well, I do think that religion has exploited our natural warlike tendencies to their advantage, but I think if it wasn't for religion, we would still be more like the larger chimps. We would still be more warlike and resolving our conflicts with aggression instead of passive sexual activity like the bonobo. So that's me correcting my own self, and basically cutting out a little bit of the video that I did last night, and that's it. So now I'm going to put this in the middle and put the whole thing out there, and just when I start talking, you'll see me back with the Wolfie hat. You'll know it's stuff that I filmed last night. If I start mentioning the bonobo again, which I will, just keep in mind that I thought about it and I realized that no, we can't blame religion for human beings being more like the chimp and more aggressive and violent. We can't blame religion for that. They contributed, but I think by nature humans are more like our larger chimp cousins than our smaller chimp cousins. That's just the way it is. So that's all. Thank you for watching. I'm going to put the rest of the last night video up now. If it wasn't for religion, if religion didn't exist, controlling the way we look at sex and the way we view sex and the way we walk around thinking that, well, not all of us, but some people walk around thinking that sex is, you know, the straight express road to Satan and hell. You know, it's something we should be ashamed of. It's wrong to have carnal knowledge before marriage. It's wrong to have more than one partner. All these things, you know, about sex that it's kind of brought on into our heads based on religious indoctrination. We're brought up to think sex is, you know, something that only happens to people once they get married, da-da-da-da-da. If we were more like the bonobo, would we have the wars that we have? Would we have the conflicts that we have all the time? You know, or would it be like having mass orgies? But we'd be peaceful. Anyway, I don't know if this is going the way I want it, but the point is, I think this is another thing that religion has done to harm society. Not to say that I think that we should all be running around having orgies or having mass partners all the time. I mean, I do think that there's something to be said for having integrity, for having for valuing yourself, seeing yourself as a valuable person, a person of worth, and you don't just, as somebody who is a person of worth and sees your own worth, I think that you should, follow that, If you're a person of worth, you're not just going to give yourself to anybody, You're going to give yourself to somebody that you truly think is wonderful, that you or not. I mean, I don't think that it should be. I don't think it's a sin to, no matter what you do, honestly. But I think that it's going to be a different thing for every single person. What they feel, they deserve or whatever. I don't think that religion has any right to tell us that something that's completely natural and actually beneficial, and if there is a God, he did actually make it a natural part of being humans. That's the thing that amazes me the most about religion. It's a natural state of being, and religion wants to take something that's natural and call it unnatural. Basically, they put humans in an artificial environment. That's what the religion creates for humans, is this artificial environment separate from what is natural. And then when humans go and engage in natural behavior, that's evil. That's evil for them to be behaving as a natural human being. I mean, it's like religion wants human beings to not ever actually live complete lives as human beings. We're supposed to live artificial lives according to religion and forsake what is natural and perhaps what is, helps complete us as people, complete us as human beings, and help us understand each other more and ourselves more. It's there for a reason. Sex is I guess this is just all going to be one video. Sex is how we communicate. Sex is a form of communication. It's a form of self-expression. Love, some people have sex for different reasons besides love, but that's just the way it is. It depends on the two people. So anyway, this is just, I think religion has taken humanity, and has really taken away the natural balance of what humans are as a species. This affected us in very negative ways. If it wasn't for religion, would we have as many wars as we do? If it wasn't for the belief that sex is dirty and we shouldn't do it, or that it's something we should be ashamed of when we do, would we have as many wars as we do? What exactly are the long-term effects of taking a species and programming into that species that something that is natural and beneficial and actually, what's supposed to happen is evil and bad and shameful if you do it? Okay, so this is probably not making sense, or I hope it is, but I don't know. I guess the long-winded talking is I'm trying to get to the point of saying that this is another thing that I think religion has done that's harmful to society and harmful to people as individuals. And I don't need to go back and reread those verses. If you want to read the verses I'm talking about, check out my last video. Something about Christians forsake sin, really? Because I read some verses in there about that touch upon sex and the Christian attitude towards sex. And in fact, it was actually reading those articles, or those verses from the Bible that made me think, wow, this is really sad that this religion does this to people, and people read this shit and actually believe it. Your body is a temple, is God's temple. No, it's not. Your body is your body. Your body is your face to the world, and how you present yourself to the world, and how you express yourself to the world. you know? It's up to you how you express yourself to the world and how you come across and who you want to be. You know, it's just as much women have a right to control their bodies and have a say whether or not they're pregnant. It's the same is true for everything about our physical bodies. They're our bodies. We have a right to control who we are, how we present ourselves, what we, you know, how we come across. And, you know, who we give the keys to or whatever, you know, some people might think that sleeping around is perfectly fine for them. You know, it makes them happy. Other people might not. Everybody's going to be different, but I don't think that one is wrong and the other is right. I think it depends on the person and who they are and how they're wired and what makes them feel complete and whole as human beings. So, da 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 da. She just keeps talking and talking and talking. I probably made my point 10 minutes ago, but here I am still talking. So I'm still kind of embarrassed that I read that article. It's like, oh my gosh, I said words like ejaculation. I think that was the word. Sorry. It's late. I know I said masturbation and I think I said lubrication and stimulation. I know I said stimulation. Oh my gosh, it's like I'm putting this on public video and I'm talking about pelvic contractions. I'm sorry, it's plenty. So that's it. That's my thoughts about sex. I think that it shouldn't be a taboo to talk about sex. I don't think sex should be something that we don't discuss with our children. I think that, you know, our children should be made aware of it. We as parents, we should give our take on it to our children. I don't think religion should enter into it at all. Of course, people who are religious will, of course, do that, but I think it's harmful to our society. And I think is one more reason or one more way that religion has harmed our society. What would we be if it wasn't for that message that sex is evil? You know, would we be love monkeys too? You know, would we all get along? Probably there'd be a lot less violence in the world. I really do think that. So that's all. Excuse me while I try not to blush. I'm sorry. Just okay. We're over it. If you've been watching, thanks. Bye.